Welcome guys, I'm back with another myth busting video. This is episode 5. In this video we're testing the following myths. Myth number 1, airdrops will drop inside the next circle and therefore can be used as a hint to where the next circle will be. Myth number 2, when you die without gear you leave no crate behind. Myth number 3, the female character model is harder to hit than the male one because it is smaller and therefore has a smaller hitbox. And myth number 4, vests and helmet have no effect on the damage you take from grenades or molotovs and never get damage from that type of damage. For the first myth, we're testing this in a simple way. We spent a lot of time on a custom server in spectator mode because here I can see the exact location of the drops on the map. Very quickly it was quite obvious that the airdrop location and the circle placement had no relation. And I'm going to use this example to demonstrate it. We here have 5 drops in this current circle and the blue is shrinking in. So if the myth is correct, then you should be able to use these airdrops as a guidance for where the next circle will be. Now obviously they are widely spread, but the airdrop down here is the newest one, so maybe the circle would look like this. But let's see where it lands. So the circle actually landed in the only spot where no airdrop was located, thereby completely busting the myth. And now this was also a pattern we saw with the largest circles. So no, you can't use airdrops as a hint for where the next circle will be. So for that reason the myth is debunked. The next myth is one I just had to do. The myths say that a player without any gear won't drop a crate at all when dying. Easy and quick to test, the myth is confirmed, no crate was dropped from a naked player. The next myth is highly debated and highly discussed. The myths say that a female player model is harder to hit because it has a smaller hitbox than the male one. The way I'm going to test this is to have a male player standing behind a female player. Then, if the myth is correct, I should be able to hit the male body by shooting directly past the female player model. Because the male player model is noticeably bigger than the female one, but can I actually hit it? Let's try. So regardless of how we did the test and how we positioned the players, there was never any indication that the female player model hitbox was different from the male one. From our testing, we can conclude that the female hitbox is identical to the male hitbox, but naturally the female body looks smaller, so in theory it could be a bit harder to aim at. But the myth that the female player is harder to hit because the hitbox is smaller is debunked. The hitboxes are identical. For the final myth, we're going to test if it's true that armor and helmets have no effect on frag grenade damage and molotov damage. In the test, a player wearing each type of armor was standing inside a shack. Then they got exploded in a very humane way. And then I checked their armor or helmet for damage. But regardless of their armor type, there was never any armor that seemed to have any effect on the grenade damage. And since none of the armor types or helmets actually took damage, it was very clear that the grenade damage did not get mitigated by the armor the player was wearing. But what about molotovs? We did this too for all armor types and helmets and saw no relation and no evidence that the armor had any effect on the damage taken. Although this test in particular was a bit interesting because here we see that the level 3 vest takes less damage than the level 1 and level 2. But this was merely a matter of damage inconsistencies, possibly due to the placement of the molotov, because here we see a level 2 vest that barely takes any damage from the molotov. But overall, none of the items took damage and there was no evidence suggesting that armor or helmets has any protection against either grenades or molotovs, and for that reason, the myth is confirmed. Now that's all I had for you guys in this 5th episode of PUBG Myth Busters. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content like this one. and I'll see you guys next time.